Hey, 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 hey! It's Eyes on Smash Bros. Radio. What's going on? Hope your Thanksgiving was enjoyable. Hope you ate a lot. Hope you've thrown away some of that shit because you know it's too old to eat now unless you froze it, unless you put it in the freezer. Hey, but you listen to Eyes on Smash Bros. Radio, the only digital radio station in Jefferson County, Birmingham. What's going on? What's going on? Appreciate you stopping in with me. We're going to talk about the holidays. We're going to talk about uh holidays isn't enjoyable, is enjoyous for some. And we're going to talk about that. But what we're going to do, if you have not done so, please go like, follow, share, subscribe to Smash Bros. Radio. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Instagram as well on Facebook. Smash Bros. Radio. Listen, if you're an independent artist, if you're a manager and so forth and so on, give us a call because we would like to um, have you on the show. We have several shows throughout the week, especially on Saturdays. So if you like to get your artists out there, if you like to get your craft out there, if you like to get your music out there, give the Smash Bros. Radio. You can DM us on Facebook and ask to come in. And Ralph and the trilogy would be more than welcome to have you on, as well as a triple thread. They'll be more than happy to have you on to showcase what you have. And we look forward to seeing you. Smash Bros. Radio showcases uh, independent artists. And since we are a digital radio station, that means that you can hear us whenever, wherever you are. Also, if you would download our app, we have an Android as well as an iPhone app. Download our app, and you can hear us all throughout wherever you are. Also, starting soon, I'm happy to announce between the hours of 3 a.m. to 4 a.m., I have Eyes After Hours. I have more freedom, which may not be a good thing. But anyway, I have more freedom to do what I wish. And also, once I've learned how to maneuver the board at the house, I'll be able to showcase your music on my show called After Hours. And once I learn the ins and outs of that, you can tune in on our app, Smash Bros. App. So, uh, also, if you like to sponsor, or if you like for us to advertise your merchandise, we're more than happy to do that. Uh, if you have not done so, please check out 86 1186 water. It is the best thing out there. I usually drink Fuji or what is it, ESSENCE, but I've changed to 1186. It is a fantastic water, as well as Alicia's coffee. Have that in the mornings too. So please check us out. Please check us out. And again, I appreciate you some. And also, before I forget, also you can find me on TikTok. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Twitter, as well as Facebook. Eyes. Make sure that you have the three Z's, OZZz. So I hope to see you. So we've just got over Thanksgiving, and it kind of snuck up on me this year. I don't know what was going on with my aura or with my environment, but it snuck up on me, and it kind of knocked the wind out of me because it's been a long time since I've been affected that way. Uh, so I thought that this would be a good time to address because I'm not the only one that goes through this. Uh, death, divorce, changes in general brings consequences, sometimes positive, sometimes negative. And it's how we adapt, how we modify, uh, so that way it's easiest for us to maintain and to continue. Sometimes it's not as easy for some to adapt or to modify or to accept. Uh, there's 7 stages of death. And trust me, there are 7 stages of death. If you've never experienced losing a loved one, whether it be your parents, your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles, etc., you are blessed. And if you are fortunate to have those individuals who are the core, who are the substance, who are the foundation to your family, you are extremely blessed because you have access. You have the ability to have accessibility to them, to be able to touch them, to smell them, to hear them, to see them. And if you are one of the ones who are blessed, I suggest and recommend that you spend your time in showing those individuals how much they mean to you, how much you appreciate them, how much you cherish them, how much they are a part of your life. Because once they're gone, you don't have that chance again. Now, I was blessed. I was very fortunate to have a wise grandmother or have wise elders that taught me that appreciation is the best form of love. And so I made it a habit because being a teenager, I didn't know that I was not showing appreciation. And that was one of my, one of many of my, uh, liabilities, let's say. Uh, I didn't know how to show appreciation. And so my GAM was always telling me that you never show appreciation and you always take things for granted. And I thought that you have to forgive me. I thought the bitch was crazy because I thought I was showing appreciation. In all actuality, I was not showing appreciation. I was being very self-centered and I was being very selfish. So once I understood, comprehended what my grandmother was telling me, what the elders were telling me, then I made it a habit to always let them know how much I appreciate them, how much that I value them in my life. And so, with me showing the appreciation while they were here, once they passed, I didn't have any regrets. I didn't have any regrets. When I was being raised, I was raised, all of us were raised, those in the family. We were raised to know your place, stay in your place, accept your place. And I did that. I knew my place. I accepted my place. I stayed in my place. And with me being the eldest of the grandchildren, there were certain responsibilities that I had to do, whether or not I wanted to. It wasn't up to question. Because, see, back in the dark ages, we never questioned the authority. We never questioned the elders. We never asked why, because we wanted to live to the next day and we did not want to be slapped into tomorrow. So we accepted what was given to us because we had the understanding, we had the knowledge to know that we may not understand what is being said now, but what is being said is going to benefit us once we get up older. And I think that's one of the things that the younger generations is missing out on. First of all, the younger generation doesn't have any type of structure. They don't have any type of responsibilities. They are feel that they are entitled, and that's our fault because we've given them too much. And so, being typically human, being typically teenagers, they're going to want more. But see, when I was raised, I had boundaries, I had guidelines. I knew exactly what my boundaries were. Now, I was a typical teenager in that I challenged uh, foolishly those boundaries, but it was a way of spreading my wings, understanding that if I make this mistake, there are consequences for those mistakes. And I learned early. I learned early in life that some of the consequences are too much that I don't want to handle, so I don't do them. So now, being 62, if I do anything, I've already rationalized what the consequences might or are going to be. Because, see, I still have a conscience. And so when I readily, knowingly do something, I know that eventually I'm going to be sick because I knew what I was doing was wrong. And so because of doing it, I'm going to get sick. And it usually takes me, depending on the degree of what I've done, depends on how much I'm sick. So that 9 times out of 10, that's why I rarely do anything, because I don't like the consequences. So if you are blessed to have those core individuals, to have those principal individuals in your life, those principal entities in your life, it is time now while you can to showcase your love and appreciation for them. With the 7 stages of death, you have to come to the point or the plateau of accepting what has transpired. And some of us can't, for whatever reason. Some of us cannot accept the fact. My godmom is a good example. My godparents were together for over 40-something years, close to 50 years. My mom was raised in Oklahoma on a farm, so she was sheltered per se by her parents, especially by her daddy. And so with that sheltered life, and then when she met my dad, which was, I think, I think it was my dad's, I think it was my dad's 3rd marriage and my mom's 2nd marriage. So when they were actually soulmates. So dad was very protective of mom. He was very sheltered. He sheltered her. He wouldn't allow certain elements to invade anything that dealt with my mom. So because of that shelteredness, because of that security, because of that foundation that her dad and my dad gave my mom was somewhat naive when it came to the world. So when daddy got sick, daddy started teaching mama certain things. Because, see, daddy handled everything in the house. He was a sole figure when it came to the house, when it came to things that he controlled. So when he started getting sick, he started relinquishing certain things to mama, showing mama how to do the bills, showing mama how to, because dad did most of his transactions on the computer. He paid his bills. He did everything that dealt financially on the computer. So he started teaching mama how to do that. So when he passed, mama wasn't able to cope, and she still isn't coping. And that's all right. That's all right. because we can't be judgmental. You know, a long time ago, they said that you had to grieve for a year before you could do anything. Some cultures say that it's between 5 and 7 years. It depends on the individuals, on their grieving process. Mama finally admitted that she hasn't accepted that daddy is gone. She won't accept that he's gone because she's scared that if she accepts the fact that he's gone, and she left it blank. And that's what concerned me the most. She was saying, and she's made random statements about the only reason why she's around is because of her dog, because there's no one to take care of her dogs. Now, we still do certain things that we did when Daddy was alive. Daddy was into the holidays. He liked the festivities. He liked the decorations. Uh, Daddy went all out when it came to decorating the house. Uh, when Daddy was alive, there was a Christmas tree on the front porch, Christmas tree in the back, two Christmas trees in the great room. There was one that was over the stairs, and there was one that was placed in the front window. So there was one, two. There were 5 trees that had to be decorated. Now we left the lights on the tree, but the decorations themselves, we had to put them on. So with the 5 trees being decorated, then we had the garland that we had to put on the front and the back railing with lights. Then we had to put the garland and wreath on the front gate. Then the carriage house, there are 5 figurines, you know, those plastic, was it Santa and Mrs. Claus? There's a snowman, and there's one other one. I can't think about it. So you had the main house that had to be decorated. Then you had the carriage house that had to be decorated. Then you had the 2 holly bushes that were shaped into trees that we had to put lights on. And then we had to put the garland and decorations on the mantle. And there was this huge porcelain manger scene that had to be placed. So it was very festive. And even during Halloween, there were lights that had to be placed. So Daddy was into the festivities. Daddy was into the food and stuff like that. So we have maintained that with some type of normality. But I've always left it up to. I think this is going into the 4th year, and that may be it. That might be the reason why the holiday kind of took me out. So the holidays isn't festive, isn't joyous for some because of what has transpired or what we have gone through. And people get selfish and saying, well, that's not my problem. And it's true, it's not your problem. At the same time, it's not our problem for you to throw up in our face about this and that, because I've gotten to the point I don't want to hear your shit. I don't want to hear anything about being festive. I don't want to hear anything about you being joyful. I don't want to hear anything about you being thankful, because in my head, you should have been thankful. You should have been all of this throughout the year instead of one day. You should have been thankful through the entire year. And then if you really want me to be petty, which anyone who knows me knows, I have no problem in being petty. I kind of like it. When it comes down to certain holidays, if you do not know the history of that holiday, then you need, because Thanksgiving is not a joyous day for the native individuals because their family, their tribe was wiped out. And that's why it was called Thanksgiving. Because when the white folks came over here and took over and invaded, they took out many tribes as well as bringing their diseases with them. So for us to be so self-centered, for us to be so entitled, well, then that tragedy, that horrendous tragedy that affected the tribes is similar to what has transpired in the Holocaust. And somebody said, no, 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 but it was. Because you genocide a group, just like what happened during the Holocaust. So for us to be thankful, we shouldn't be thankful. We should not even be celebrating Thanksgiving because we were lied to. It had nothing to do with the Pilgrims and the damn Indians to getting together. It had nothing to do with that. That's a way of the white folks whitewashing, as they usually do, the true meaning of something. But I digress. Same thing when it comes to Christmas. If you want to use the biblical sense, there's nowhere in the Bible that says that Jesus was born in December. And if you really want to be petty about it, which I have no problem in doing, December was a pagan holiday. And plus, two, historians would tell you, theologians would tell you that shepherds do not watch their sheep in the wintertime. So there was no way in hell that Jesus was born in December, especially December 25th, which is a Roman holiday, a pagan holiday. So don't throw up the scriptures and all, because there's nothing mentioned. There's only two births, two birthdays that's mentioned in the Bible. Look it up. Only two birthdays. And plus two, if you really want to be scriptural, it says that you should mourn when somebody is born and rejoice when somebody dies. You should grieve when somebody is born and celebrate when somebody dies. Look it up. If you want to throw scriptures up to me, throw it up. Throw it up. So the holidays isn't joyous, isn't something to be enjoyed by some of us because of what we've been through. So we still have maintained some normality when it comes to putting up the decorations. Mama doesn't go all out as she did with Daddy. Now, we did put up the tree in the front. We did put up the garland on the railing with the lights. She did put up the decorations for the mantle. And I think that, and then and we did put the lights up on the two holly trees or two holly bushes out in the front, which I'm going to have to go over after the show to find out why some of the lights aren't working. And also, before you put the lights on something, please make sure that you check to make sure that the lights are working. Because see, if Daddy was living, Daddy would make us do that. But see, we forgot about that. But that's how it is. Because we have to maintain some type of normality when it comes. If you've never experienced losing someone, if you've never gone through the pain and the suffering, I cannot even describe it with any type of credence, because it is the most devastating feeling in the world. And then you have to continue. And then on top of that, when you've lost everyone in your family and you're the only one left, that's not a good feeling either. Anxiety, depression is real. And usually, the ones that are the strongest, the ones that have always been the rock, are the ones that are suffering the most because we have to put on this facade. We have to put on this mask to cover our feelings because we have enough of appreciation and love and understanding that we do not want to damper the festivities for others. So we muddle through. We have to be more conscientious. We have to be more mindful. We have to be more aware that there are some people who suffer during the holidays, that there are some individuals who are not capable at this time to cope with what they've lost because it meant so much to them. As I stated before, I was wise enough and I was raised by the most wise individuals to let me know that I still had time to change my way. So I was a mischievous child, but at the same time, I wasn't crazy. I always respected my elders. So when my mom got sick and she passed, I didn't have any regrets because my mom knew, and I showed my mom how much I appreciated her, how much I respected her, how much I valued her in my life. So see, there was no regrets for me. And see, that's another thing that we have to keep in mind. People take for granted that individuals are going to be here the next day, and that's not necessarily true. So they don't take the time that they have to rectify their course from the past. See, I asked for forgiveness long time ago for any transgressions that I had done to my elders because I was a foolish child. I was a spoiled, pampered child. I got whatever I wanted. And at 62 years old, I'm still that child. I'm not going to apologize for it because I am. I'm still that child. So not only losing an individual, but having that regret, having that guilt of not having the chance to ask for forgiveness weighs heavy on individuals too. So see, we don't know the makeup of what the individual's going through. We don't know what has transpired while the individual was living with the valued people in their lives. So for those of you who are blessed, I would recommend severely, aggressively, that while you have the ability, the chance to rectify anything that might have transpired, this is your chance to ask for forgiveness. When I started teaching, well, see, I told God a long time ago that I'm not going to have any children, so I'm not going to be paid back. You don't ever challenge God. You, you, you never question nor do you challenge God because He's going to have the last say. So, okay, so I didn't have any per se children of my own, but I was blessed to become a teacher. So, though I did not have children of my own, I have over 25, close to over 3,000 plus individuals that I was blessed to have taught, to have entered my life. They paid me back. So during the first 2 years, I would always go back home. And I would finally ask my grandmother for forgiveness. And she said, Lewis, I forgave you a long time ago. And I told her, I said, well, would you please tell God that you forgave me because these kids are whipping my behind? And I told her some of the things that I had told the kids. Of course, she couldn't believe that I was telling the truth. My grandmother my grandmother didn't play. Evelyn was crazy. Evelyn was crazy. So I had the chance to ask for forgiveness. I had the ability to show them how much I appreciated everything they've done for me and were doing for me. The elders gave me a backbone. The elders gave me the confidence to be what I am now. I always had surrogates. There was always someone to fill in where the necessity or where the emptiness was. So there are some of us who are not capable of modifying or to rationalize what is going on with us. So it is left up to us to make sure that we check on those individuals to make sure that they're okay, to allow them to let those individuals know that I value you in my life. I understand to a point what you're going through. Please do not use the word sympathize. Please erase that word, eliminate, delete, abolish that word sympathy. Oh, I can sympathize. I don't want your fucking sympathy. I think the word sympathy is a way of individuals easing their conscience because let's be serious, 9 times out of 10, people could give a happy goddamn what you're going through. They don't even give a fuck about what you're going through. They don't care. And that's okay. I'm not asking you to, but at the same time, don't cheapen what I'm going through. Don't diminish what I'm going through to ease your conscience because personally, just like you don't care, I don't care about your conscience. If you cannot empathize with what I'm going through, if you cannot even comprehend or understand what I'm going through, don't say shit to me because it's fake. It's not pure. You can tell me that, I can't understand, but I'm here for you. Cool. I can understand. But never, ever use the word sympathy with me because, see, you're going to piss me off. And when people ask me, well, how are you doing? I used to tell the teachers that I work with, you really don't give a happy goddamn, so why are you asking me? They were shocked. Because don't play me. Because if you have some type of disagreement or if you don't like me, I don't care. I'm not going to ask you how you're feeling because really I could care less how you're feeling. And personally speaking, since I'm petty and messy, I would rather you die and go to hell instead of whatever. And I'm being honest. This is your chance to rectify everything. This is your chance to get in tune with individuals in your family. You don't have, all you're doing is making your life easier, more comfortable, and at peace in the end. And that's all it's all about, being peace at your end. But there is a lot of pain and agony going on during the holidays. And we're not asking you to forget the holidays. We're not asking you to not be joyful and happy, enjoy it. We're not asking you that. All we're asking is that you understand that it's not joyous for some of us. I'm glad Thanksgiving is over with. I'm ready for Christmas to be over with. I'm ready for my tax refund. Because the holidays aren't holidays to me. The holidays are just like another day to me. And then I never understood why you would wait in a year to buy someone a gift when you have 11 other months that you can buy a gift. Shit, yeah, your ass may not be living in a year. They may not even be living at the end of December. If you see that I like a cologne, if you see something that I might like, don't wait till December to give it to me. I want my shit now. Acknowledge me now while I'm living. Give me the acknowledgement, the recognition now while I'm living so I can accept it. Don't wait till funeral, because I don't want to hear that, because I can't hear shit. And see, 9 times a funeral is only for the living. Funerals aren't for the dead. Funerals are for the living. Funerals are for those individuals who were so obnoxious, to give them a chance to get on the stage and say, well, you know that I love them, and mother, you never showed it while they were living. Now you're putting on this act, and you're going to win your Emmy, you're going to win your Oscar, but it's too late. Show me now, because I don't want to see it at the end. And see, that's one reason why I've already set it up, that once I do go, I'm not having a ceremony. I'm not having a funeral. I've already told everybody that if I die Monday morning, see if you can put me in the grave Monday evening or Tuesday. I don't want any type of program. I do not want a chapel service. I do not want a graveyard service. Put my ass in the grave, because I'm not giving anybody the chance, the opportunity to showboat. Give me my now. Acknowledge how you feel about me now. And if I'm vital in your life, show me now. Most of us, some of us, are going through this grieving process because that individual was vital, was important, was pivotal in our life. That individual was our substance. That individual was our foundation. That individual was our core of strength. When my grandmother passed away, I was taking AP classes up at the University of Alabama. And when you take AP classes, you have a week-long workshop. And that on that Friday, you have to turn in your syllabus as well as the book. You have to show the book. Well, my grandmother was in the hospital while I was in Tuscaloosa. And my sister called and was saying that I needed to come to Montgomery. And I think Montgomery is about 45 minutes from Tuscaloosa. I think that's correct. Maybe longer. But make a long story short, the doctor had come in, had arrived, and had asked, had my grandmother seen everybody? And my aunt said in unison, there were several of them said that no, that she hadn't seen her grandson, Louis. And the doctor said, well, that's why she's waiting. She's waiting for Louis. Well, see, I was department head, so my matrix was already created. So I could not change the matrix. So, and it was very important that I get certified to teach AP, and it was AP government. So I had already done the syllabus. I had already had the book. And so when I presented it to the professor that was teaching, he was asking me, why are you here? I said, because I need to be certified. He said, well, and he went through all this, well, how did you know how to do your syllabus? How about the book? And explained all that to him. He was saying, well, you didn't even need to be here because you already have your syllabus and your book. I said, so I can leave? He said, yeah. I said, am I going to get certified? He said, yeah. So I left. I left during lunch to go to Montgomery. And when I arrived in Montgomery, everyone was in the room with my grandmother. And next thing I knew, I looked up and I was wondering, where did everybody go? So I was there with my grandmother, the two of us. So I was being selfish because I didn't want her to go. But I knew that it was her time because she was tired. So I took her hand. And with the other hand, I rubbed the top of her hand. And I told her, I don't want you to go, but I know that you're tired. You've taught me. You taught me well. I'm going to be all right. So it's time for you to go to sleep and know that you're going to be missed tremendously. But I know that you're tired. And I kissed her on her forehead. She went to sleep. The next thing I knew, everyone's back in the room. And so I saw my grandmother pass. I saw my mama pass. That was when mama was sick. We were raised that you were supposed to stay in the hospital 24/7. My mama knew that I was not going to stay in the hospital. I was there in the morning. When she woke up, I stayed the first I think it was the first 3 days, 4 days, to find out exactly what her schedule was going to be. So I was there by 7 when she woke up. I stayed during lunch, and I left around 4 or 5 because I knew that she was going to be all right. And usually she went to sleep around 6. Now the elders, some of them were very upset with me because they felt that I should stay there the time duration. And I told her no. I said, as long as my grandmother doesn't say anything to me, my mama knew what I was going to do, no one could say anything to me, so you need to mind your own business. Now, of course, I had to go back and I had to tell my grandmother what I had told the elders. And she told me that she understood what I said, but I had to go back and apologize because I was being disrespectful. And I did. I told him, I said, my grandmother told me I had to come and apologize to you because I was disrespecting you, and I did not mean to disrespect you. So because my grandmother told me I had to apologize to you, I'm apologizing. But understand that as long as Evelyn doesn't tell me, and as long as Evelyn doesn't have a problem with what I'm doing, no one should say anything to me. So there's certain times now, whether it's a smell, whether it's a fragrance, whether it's a sound, whether it's a song, something triggers something in me. Even this time, to somewhat knock a little wind out of me, to shake me. But I've learned how to bounce back. This go around took longer for some reason. But I'm able to combat that, to counteract that by getting active in my yard. And because of me going through this transition, this transgression, my yard is prepped for the winter, because around this time is when we would go and get leaves from the neighborhood because you use the leaves as mulch. And so all the flower beds have been mulched. The hill has been mulched. I even have about 10, maybe 12 bags of leaves remaining. This will be the first year, or next year will be the first year that I will have a vegetable garden. And I haven't had a vegetable garden in over 30 something years. So I'm prepping the beds now for the vegetables. So I did not allow this depression to get me to that dark space. Now I got close to it. I have to admit, I did get close to it, but I did because I was active in the yard, and that helped me out a lot. So during this year, and in the holidays to come hereafter, please make sure that you are conscious, that you are mindful. So, enjoy your holidays. Take care of yourself. Know your value. Know your worth. Know that you control everything about you. And most importantly, know that I love you more than I love my luggage. And I'll see you tomorrow. I appreciate y'all. Y'all take care. The live stream on the show. On the show. The live stream. On the show. The live stream. The live stream.